career here. You want to come up, Amy? Okay, this says recognizes 20 years of dedicated service. Amy Gross, clerk, 1998 2007. Clerk, Amy Gross.
I'll say a few words if you don't mind. Yeah, I've been here 20 and a half years. I started out working full-time in the clerk treasurer's office. Claudia Mentic Carlson was the one who hired me. I wanted knowledge her tonight, as well as Marilyn Eckerling, who was the second clerk treasurer that I worked under. She appointed me chief deputy clerk. She served one term. She didn't want to run again for office. I said I was going to jump into the ring because I was doing a lot of the work of the clerk treasurer, and I felt that the best person for the job is within the office, not outside the office. And as you might know or might not know, I served enough time. I'm really tired of politics now. Not just on a national level, but on a local level and a regional level. And it's much less stress because I found out a few months ago about a position that was available in St. John, administrative assistant for the Cedar Lake, or excuse me. I gotta get used to saying St. John Police Department. After a lot of interviews and practical exercises and background checks, I was offered the position and I accepted it. So I actually started work on Monday, and I'm working with a great group of people. I really appreciate it. I'm greatly blessed. My family is here tonight. And I want to acknowledge my mom, Darlene, because she has served, I believe, 32 years with the Cedar Lake Police Department as a dispatcher and an administrative assistant. So, as you're probably aware by now, the apple does not fall far from the tree. We support our police officers. We're very dedicated to serving them good. And thank you very much for your time. And thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we'll have a public hearing. Amy, we're going to miss you.
Yeah, amen.
I'll come back and haunt once in a while, like, and argue and ask questions. And
You're gonna come back for public comment every.
I look forward to that.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to have a public hearing for Lennar Homes. That's item number 1 here. Dave, do you have an attorney review of legal?
The notices of public hearing are in evidence. They're timely made, and the public hearing may be conducted.
Okay.
Do you want a bit of explanation, Greg?
Yes, please.
This is the public hearing on the annexation application of Lennar Homes on what is commonly known as the Fritz Farm at 141st, immediately east of the railroad tracks, across from the Hanover Central Middle School property. And there's 104.5 acres that are proposed to be annexed, and a residential community is planned and proposed by the developer applicant for that property upon annexation in the event that you deem appropriate. So there's a fiscal plan that is before you. It references the requirements of the law for extension of services, responsibilities, and the like. That is the subject of the public hearing this evening. I would note for the record that Mr. Bill Robinson from the developer representative, Lennar, and Attorney Jim Weiser are present. So if you want some input from them, that'd be great. But otherwise, this matter is set for the public and any comment they want to make.
I would just like to verify that the numbers are still the same. What I heard when you came into the Plan Commission, that you got 373 housing units there, 181 single family, 96 cottages, and 96 townhomes.
The unit count has stayed the same. We've reduced the number of single family, and we're offering more of the we call them the active adult homes. But the unit count has stayed the same. We've added to the plan a clubhouse and a pool.
Okay. And
President.
you are a nationwide company, correct?
We are the number one, the largest builder in the country.
Mr. Austin?
Bob, the actual plan, this concept that's been presented, the actual plan won't come to the Plan Commission until the annexation is perfected.
Okay.
That would take the adoption of the ordinance and then the 30-day remonstrance period.
Yeah, there's been nothing approved on this. It's
No,
just
but they
conceptual
came
so
in
far.
and made a presentation.
Right.
The unit count stays the same.
Okay, it's still 373.
Yep.
Okay.
Not 374.
Deputy
Just
Clerk
checking.
Nagy, will you
Just
read
checking.
read ordinance number 1299?
No additional.
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1299. An ordinance annexing certain contiguous land to the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, and all matters related thereto.
Okay, heard the first reading.
I'm sorry, Greg. The first reading happened at the public meeting of the council in July. The public hearing tonight is on the fiscal plan component. That would be resolution 1226.
Okay. Well, that's where we'll go next. Can you read resolution number 1226, Deputy Clerk Nagy?
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, resolution number 1226. A resolution of the Cedar Lake Town Council to approve a fiscal plan and policy for proposed voluntary annexation of a parcel of real property to the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, and all matters related thereto.
Okay. We've heard a reading, resolution number 1226. Are there any remonstrators here for or against Lennar Homes voluntary annexation? Any remonstrators for or against? Okay, the public hearing part of this is now closed. Town Council?
Make a motion to approve resolution number 1226.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Miller. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Richard Sharp,
Yes.
Greg Parker.
Yes, motion carries 5-0.
Yes, yeah, mid-September now. Yeah. 18.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on agenda items only? Any public comment on agenda items only? Okay, seeing none, we're moving on to the consent agenda. Item number 1, we need a motion and a second to approve the minutes
Make a motion.
for the August 7th, 2018 public meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes, August 7th,
Mr. President,
and everything else.
the form of motion could consider the consent agenda, including minutes, claims, donations,
Yeah.
clubhouse waiver requests,
All right,
and
let
St.
me-
John.
Let me read through all this. Item number 1, minutes for the August 7th, 2018 public meeting. Item number 2, claims all town funds of $251,784.24. Wastewater operating, $124,464.43. Water utility, $12,757.41. Stormwater, $362,193.55. 2017 RDA A and B construction, $615,788.23. Payroll, August 8th, 2018, $246,901.95. Item number 3, donations for DARE from the Lighthouse Restaurant of $1,035. Item number 4, clubhouse waiver requests, Cub Scout Pack 129. And item number 5, St. John Oktoberfest picnic table request, September 19th through the 24th, 2018. Is there a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and accept the consent agenda as listed?
Okay, making a motion again to accept the consent agenda.
Second. Motion by Ms. Rivera, a second by Mr. Sharp. Is
Questions?
any questions?
In the claims, 804-001-448 Wash and Kelly Incorporated, $214,120.08. That's for Lincoln Plaza. Is that the final payment?
No.
So that is just a partial payment
That's
that
just
we're making
partial
tonight?
payment.
Also, I looked here and found 630-001-396, the Spyglass Group, 2 claims of $165.33. What is the Spyglass Group?
Anybody know?
Was that the one where they?
Yeah.
We, had consulting services, they've been working with us to break down our phone service, Comcast, Verizon. We have quite a few with the different departments. It looks at everything, phone lines, internet service, and, smaller amounts that we don't even realize that these companies are sneaking in, and they're helping us break it down and get some of those services removed to save us money annually, as well as they are hoping to go back some to get us reimbursed for fees or taxes that we should have never been charged for.
Okay. Then I have 651-001-445 LGS. This is for South Shore in the amount of $171,538.49. Is that a partial payment, and are they deserving of getting that money?
Yes,
Okay.
that is 651 is your stormwater bond utility component of the South Shore project. So 651 for Grimmer and for LGS.
Okay, and the Grimmer amount is $184,624.52, and that's for the stormwater up in High Grove.
And then your 900 series is for the roadway improvements, which are your series A and B bonds.
So on the 901 or the 900-001-445 for Grimmer of $158,123.92 is a partial payment, right?
Correct.
And then the one for LGS in that same category is $459,664.31, also a partial payment.
Correct.
And I'll go ask some other questions on situations with both of those later.
Any other questions on the consent agenda? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Item number 1, ordinance number 1300, committees. First reading was held August 7th, 2018. Deputy Clerk Treasurer Nagy, can you read ordinance number 1300?
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1300. An ordinance amending town ordinance number 1151, being an ordinance amending town code section 30.29 pertaining to town council committees, repealing all ordinances in town code sections or portions thereof in conflict herewith, and all matters related thereto, and repealing all ordinances in town code sections or portions thereof in conflict herein, and all matters related thereto.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Robert
Gotta have-
Carney?
There's a
We got a motion.
to
We gotta have
adopt.
a motion and second first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 1300?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Ms. Rivera, seconded by Mr. Miller. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
No.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
No.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
There's
So,
no action.
No action.
Okay.
2-2.
No.
3-2.
3-2.
Yeah, 3-2, I'm
Need
sorry.
to have 4.
You need 4 for anything. Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
this should be moved to the next agenda, next town council meeting,
Okay.
unless there's another action council wants.
Do we need a motion for that, or can we just,
You can direct it.
can we add that to the next agenda? Item number 2, ordinance number 1304, water utility rules and regulations amendment. Deputy Clerk Nagy, can you read ordinance number 1304?
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1304. An ordinance amending town ordinance number 1161 pertaining to water utility rules and regulations in the town of Cedar Lake and repealing all town code sections and ordinances or parts thereof in conflict herewith. Excuse me.
Okay. Ordinance number 1304, water utility rules and regulations. Can we have a brief description of what we're doing there?
Council, your Director of Operations, along with Water Utilities staff, working with our engineer, has reviewed the town's rules and regulations for the water utility and recommend the following amendment to Rule 1.1 service connections. This is adding in an additional type of piping being Municipex or approved PEX-A equivalent. This is allowing them to use an additional material other than just type K copper. When using this Municipex, non-metallic stiffeners must be used on all connection points. Tracer wires must be used in all Municipex applications and must be Copperhead 12, et cetera, et cetera. Ryan can explain this honestly better than I. And also amending Rule 1.17, your meter tampering. Any person who disables or tampers with a meter installed by the water utility of the town shall be subject to fines and penalties not to exceed $100, plus all costs to the utility to repair or replace a disabled or tampered meter. Each and every day, any violation of this section shall constitute a separate offense, subject to the fine and penalty for each day. In the event that a meter needs to be replaced due to disabling actions or tampering, said person or entity is also subject to current replacement cost of meter with installation. So since we've taken on the utility, these are recommended changes to our rules and regulations.
Okay.
Amendments to those sections. It's our recommendation that you approve these changes, and these have been reviewed with legal.
We've heard the reading of ordinance number 1304. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Sharp, second by Mr. Miller. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
I'm going to vote no due to the fact that I haven't had a chance to read this, and it was a late arrival tonight. I just pulled it out of my box, and so my vote is no at this point in time. Hopefully we can have, if it passes the second reading, and I may support it then.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes. Motion carries 4-1. New business item number 1, appointment of interim clerk treasurer.
Is this an item you're going to pass on and not act?
Being as in 10 days, we have a caucus, is this when we have a deputy clerk treasurer that's very capable of doing this job? Do we need to appoint an interim, or should we wait?
I don't see any reason why we need to appoint an interim. So can we just delete this item and
You have the privilege of the chair to move on to the next item and
we're
consider
gonna
this matter.
pass on item number 1, move on to item number 2. Item number 2, Boat Bash 2018 request. And that was for the pier. Jill, is that right?
No.
This is for Pinecrest is having a boat
Oh, the
bash
request for the
this
fire department. Yes.
Saturday at their facility.
Okay, Todd, have you been made aware?
Yeah, they asked us if we could provide some personnel there for their event in the event there's an incident. I have our operations guy that likes to do that stuff. He's willing to do it if the council approves it. And he wants to display our dive rescue equipment and the dive team stuff. So it's kind of a little bit of a dog and pony show for the dive team guys, and help a little bit with organization of the event.
Okay, and this is being put on by Pinecrest?
Yeah.
Okay, can anybody add anything to that?
There's a letter in here if you'd like.
Yeah, I probably should read it.
Want me to read it?
Yeah, if you would, please.
Hi, Todd. As you may have heard, we are having our first annual boat bash at the marina on August 25th. We will have a boat and pontoon demo rides, surfing and wakeboarding demos from 11 to 4. I expect to have at least 100 people or more, so there will be a lot of boat traffic in our corner of the lake. If you have available manpower, we would like to request the fireboat to be in the water by the event to help control some of the traffic during the demo ride portion of the event. Thanks, Bob Gross, Pinecrest Marina.
Okay,
That was
thank you.
his request at the time, and then talked to Tony Diadam, my marine guy, and he's wanting to display all of our equipment as well. So it's pleasure of the council, it makes no difference to me. But he said he would willing to do it. So we have volunteers to actually man the boat.
Is there a motion on the boat bash?
I make a motion to do it.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Miller, second by Mr. Sharp. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Item number 3, JMOB update ratification.
It's not in your packet. If I could report for Ralph and Rick, we attended as well as Tim, the August 15th JMOB meeting. At that meeting, it was reported that the chemical phosphorus removal facility and mechanical trash project is complete. That project did come in under budget by $20,000. They did approve the EQ basin liner repair. It will be replacing the liner at the Lowell EQ basin with a 100 mil liner at a cost of $173,200. That's capital cost split 50-50 Cedar Lake and Lowell. They approved the long-term control plan, flow monitoring update, hydrologic and hydraulic model proposal with Cedar Lake paying $9,812.40 and Lowell paying $53,087.60. Sorry, there's a lot. There was a lot of discussion on that one. NIPSCO electric service line replacement. This has been an ongoing item with the JMOB, the electric line going to the plant and issues with the generator. Originally, back in 2016, the JMOB had awarded Sweeney Electric in the amount of $24,000 to fix the line to the plant. However, that's the same time when their new town manager came in. He's been working with NIPSCO and going back and forth. He has actually gotten NIPSCO to come down to about $14,000 to put in a new overhead line. So that project will be done. This is going to be done in conjunction with some other updates NIPSCO is doing in the area. Grit removal equipment. The Public Works Director, Kevin Gray, reported on this equipment that needs to be replaced. It was authorized to purchase this new grit equipment at a price not to exceed $110,000. Again, that will be a 50-50 split. The Headworks building furnace is also going to be replaced in an amount not to exceed $29,400. And then they're working on replacing some water lines in the Headworks building. The original quote was for $16,000. They will be working on that because they have someone they may be able to do that a little cheaper in-house. That amount didn't necessarily need to be brought to the JMOB since it's under $25,000 based on our agreement. But to keep up with transparency and everything. They reported that as well. And that is it.
Could I have a hard copy of that put in my box?
I will get you a copy of the minutes.
Okay.
It's recommended that you ratify the update and recommendations that were approved by your council members at the JMOB meeting.
Any questions on that? Is there a motion to,
I'll make the motion to ratify.
I'll second.
motion by Councilman Miller, second by Councilman Sharp. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Item number 4, right of entry license and construction agreement for 9810 West 136th Lane.
Council, this is the right of entry license and construction agreement for some stormwater work that we're going to do at 9810 West 136th Lane. It's our recommendation that you approve this. This will expire with the completion of the construction project.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the right of entry license and construction agreement for 9810 West 136th Lane?
So move.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Sharp, second by Ms. Rivera. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Item number 5, South Shore Subdivision Improvement Change Order number 4.
Council, this is change order number 4 for your South Shore project. There were some adjustments in quantities for revised pavement section on Peterson Coffin. Based on existing conditions, there was an additional undercut quantity to reflect usage in the field. These updated quantities are shown in your packet. This will cause an increase in dollars of $17,513.58. And addition, moving your substantial completion from August 23rd to August 31st. These are some changes that were noted in the field while we were doing the work. This is our recommendation for you to approve change order number 4.
Surprised they didn't find more than that down there.
Are they going to be able to complete South Shore this year?
Yes.
This year? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Your substantial completion date is August 31st
For South Shore?
for South Shore.
Wow. All parts of it, even over on Peterson?
Yeah. Yeah,
Julie-
with
Julie,
your final completion of
Didn't we have a
October
change
1st.
order that extended that?
Pardon me?
Didn't we have a change order that extended that?
We had the change order that extended it from July 1st to August 23rd, and then this change order will extend it from August 23rd to August 31st, excuse me, due to the extra work that was noted in these extra quantities.
All the curbs are in South Shore. They're basically done just paving in there,
Well, that's your thing.
put some extensions on and stuff.
45 days out. Yeah.
I thought that we had like October.
That's what my recollection was. That's why I
October
asked.
1st is when you're ready for, is your final completion
Yeah.
date. But
Oh,
substantial
okay.
completion
Okay,
is,
that's what I wanted.
otherwise
to
we
hear.
run out of the planting season.
Yeah, I
So
thought they
that was not going
negotiated
bad.
September 15th and October 1st.
It's gone pretty well, Greg.
I went through there the other day. You've been in there too, I know.
It's gone pretty
I
well.
was down
Yeah,
through
we
there
went
over
from
the
September
weekend too.
15th to October 1st.
It's moving right along.
Actually getting some compliments, so
Yeah, it's good when it turns into that.
yes, it is. Surprising, but good.
I'm getting a lot of positive comments from Christopher Brooks, guy TJ. they
TJ's
call-
unbelievable.
The
Yeah.
people are just
Yeah, he's
very
unbelievable.
pleased with him.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion to approve change order number 4 for South Shore Improvement?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Sharp, second by Mr. Miller. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Item number 6, Town Club Ditch Project.
Council, as you remember, or to remind you, the Town Club Ditch Project, we put back out and had it re-quoted. We had our engineer kind of skinny up the project a little bit. Quotes were solicited for the project. 2 quotes were received of the 16 vendors solicited. These quotes have been reviewed by staff as well as your engineer and your town attorney. The engineer's estimated anticipated cost of this project was $134,067, which included the contingencies. Emerald Site Services came in at $149,568, and Metro Excavation Corp came in at $149,768. While Emerald appears to be your apparent lowest responsive and responsible bidder, it would be our recommendation to award this project to Metro Excavating, being an approved Cedar Lake local contractor, as well as an Indiana corporation. This has been reviewed with our attorney, and if our attorney can comment on this as well. There is a $200 difference in your 2 vendors.
Mr. Usher?
The most bizarre bid quotation I have seen ever is what is before you. But with regard to Indiana law, I mean, think about it. $150,000 job that's $200 apart between the only 2 bidders after it's been rebid.
Yeah.
When you think about it,
And
it's just
16
kind of bizarre.
vendors.
But the recommendation by the town administrator is solid, and the preference for an Indiana business is solid under the provisions of Public Purchasing Statute Title V, and you have the discretion to select the Indiana contractor who's $200 higher versus the Illinois if you so choose.
Okay. I have a question for Tim of Public Works. It's like the 3rd time we've worked on Town Club Ditch since I've been here.
Well, they did about 10 years, 10 years ago.
2011.
11 years ago, huh?
2011.
2011. They did do a
We got an award for it.
Town Club Ditch rehab. I don't believe that the magnitude of water that comes from up there on that hill was completely accounted for, and it is like a bomb went off up there. It is, I mean, I know that when they did it the first time, it was in pretty bad shape, and they put in some check dams and some quite extensive repair, and that water completely, I mean, if you drive back there and look at it, it's absolutely mind-boggling how much destruction is back there from there's probably a 50-foot grade change in there, and the amount of water that comes through there is just tremendous. So now, supposedly, this new plan accounts for that quantity and force of that water and be able to slow it down and keep it from, flushing the entire hill down. So,
And some of the work we're doing up there in High Grove, putting the drainage in, will help reduce the amount of water that goes down into that.
that water's still coming.
Yeah, it's still gonna come, but it'll reduce it somewhat.
If you've ever been there in a heavy rain, it's like you're at Niagara Falls back there. You wouldn't even believe it unless you've seen it. I still can't.
I'm going to try to take advantage of that one time when it's raining.
It is something to see. Today.
Yeah.
Council,
You wouldn't believe you were in Cedar Lake if you drove up there and looked.
Can we put a rapid ride in up there?
as a reminder, we did receive a layer grant for this, a Lake and River Enhancement Grant for this project. So 61% of this project, up to $100,000, will be paid for by that grant. And the remainder of that project will be paid for out of utility funds, being wastewater and stormwater as recommended by our financial advisor.
Okay, that's good. Is there a motion on town administrator's recommendation?
To approve Metro.
I'll make the
Excavation Corp.
motion to approve Metro Excavating Corp. at $149,768.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Carnahan, second by Mr. Miller. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 1, Cedar Lake Historical Association request. Mrs. Merck, can you go give us an explanation of this one again?
Council, at your last meeting, you deferred this request by the Historical Association to use our pier for their event. My apologies. I'm going through my packet backwards. To use our pier for their tours on August 21st, which is tonight, August 28th, September 4th, and September 11th, Dave Harkabis of Cedar Lake Sunset Cruises was providing these historical cruises. Mr. Harkabis came and spoke at your last council meeting. In order for him to be able to pull up his boat, we would need to take a boat out of one of our lifts, anchor our boat, or tie it up to the pier, or put it on a trailer and have people load that way. Or the Historical Association was given the okay to use the Lighthouse Restaurant's pier for this event. I was instructed to talk this over with our insurance agent. We would have coverage if people were to use our pier. Unfortunately, it's not really one of those things. It's a public safety pier. It's not meant for the public. Both of your public safety officers really didn't recommend using this for the event.
Is that still the recommendation by Publix? Fire chief left?
Yeah.
Police chief.
And also, the question was raised that the chamber asked to use that pier and they were denied too.
Same reasons?
Same reasons.
Yeah, the request didn't even come before you. They went out and reviewed it with the police chief. So.
Okay.
Thanks to Josh for that information.
Council members have anything else? Any questions or concerns? Is there a motion on this item for the request by the Historical Society?
With it being the recommendation of the fire chief and police chief not to be able to do it, I think I would have to go along with them and make the motion to let them use, Dave was in here and said that they could use the Lighthouse Pier. They were sold out tonight. Both of their trips were sold out tonight and that. So there's going to be quite a few people coming and going on the pier and that. So I would make the recommendation that we do not let them use the pier.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Miller, second by Mr. Carnahan. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Town council reports. Town council?
Find my paperwork here. Got everything scattered all over here. We had RDC on last night, and we approved the bills for Barnes and Thornburg in the amount of a little over $15,000. Here it is. $15,525.60. And then we got this one report on what kind of money we have. And I, from what I understand,
You're talking RDC money?
Yes.
Okay.
RDC prepared this, and if I'm reading this right, this was prepared by Amy, and it looks like we've got $1,033,232.46.
No, that's your forecasted.
Oh, that's forecasted.
Yeah, forecasted
Okay.
balance. It's a summary of what has been spent in an activity report, if you will.
And then also, they hired VS Engineering for an amount of $4,800.
No,
They did not.
What did they do with that $4,800?
they They had an agreement with Context. Context was the one who was deferred from the town council to RDC. So they did an additional 2 community engagements, pop-up activities. So they extended the agreement that they had with Context for 2 more engagement activities. Context is the one who, that's not Veritas. This is the one who's coming in, having the second consultant, the community engagement and agreements.
And did they not also say that they attended the Fireman's Ball and there's only 42 people there?
They had 42 people who participated.
Okay.
42 participants. As that event was just Saturday, as of last night, we did not have the report back from them.
And VS is going to do something for them?
No, VS just did a presentation for them.
Okay, but they're not going to bring anything else back next month?
Not that was directed at
Okay.
that meeting. It was
I
just a
misunderstood
presentation
that
of what they offered.
I guess I missed, what was context with the Fireman's Ball? I don't understand.
Context is doing some community engagement work to refine that economic development plan. So traditionally, you will have a company like that come in and see what the community is looking for, gather their input, gather their interest, and come up with your economic plan and where these components should be located, what the community needs are. So what we are doing is having a couple pop-up events around the community. We've taken the calendars of various public events, such as the Fireman's Ball, potentially a football game, the trunk or treat, various activities where there'll be different age ranges of people together, what they are looking for, what they want, whether they're for or against any economic development, any redevelopment of the community, and being a neutral company to gather that input. From the initial input that we got from the first engagement was whether they are for or against any type of economic development, redevelopment. The overall theme of everyone was, we are glad someone is here listening to us. So someone who is neutrally taking that information and going to put it together and then report back to the redevelopment commission.
Okay, so that's a company that the RDC hired, they
Yes.
contracted with?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's reporting what the redevelopment commission did last evening.
Okay. Any other town council reports?
Yeah, I wanted to report that in Cedar Point Park, we had a problem with one of the easements that was getting quite a bit of water and the water was standing. We had a real good rain today. We had a real good rain yesterday. The easement was holding the water. Within 45 minutes after the water stopped, everything had drained off and all of that. So Tim, the plan you came up with down there is really working well. You know, within 45 minutes, the whole thing was all dried out, and that again, they came in and they made a swell that goes down to the lake and that to carry it all away.
Looks like it worked.
Yeah.
Made something work,
All time, man.
as usual. Any other town
No, we
council
always
reports?
hear when things are flooding, but here, I just wanted to report that they came in where the problem was and they took care of it.
Another thing, there's going to be a caucus with the precinct people on August 31st at 6:30 at the Hanover Township Trustee's Office. And Attorney, is it Reeves?
John Reed.
Reed is going to be conducting the thing, and anybody interested in filing for that position, I don't know what the deadline is. You got to be a Republican and you got to live in Cedar Lake.
2 requirements.
Right. But I don't know when the deadline is, and I don't know, I don't know if you have to send it to the attorney or.
People said you can go down to the county building at Board of Elections and file, and I think it's 72 hours before the deadline.
Okay.
That's the best bet.
Okay. Any other town council reports? Town attorney?
two items. One, as a consequence of Bob's report, the Barnes and Thornburg billing invoice apparently is important because the results of the services rendered by Barnes and Thornburg may be that we recover for the redevelopment commission TIF funds that were overpaid of approximately $45,000. That engagement related to the bankruptcies of Strachan Van Til's, Central Grocers, and the 2012 bond issue that resulted in Strachan Van Til's purchasing the bonds and being obligated for the repayment. So it is anticipated, and I'm negotiating right now, the recovery of funds based upon the report and the work done by Barnes and Thornburg.
We already paid that money, right?
That was paid, correct?
Yes.
That was, yes, we learned the details of that last night. So we're trying to get it back. Number two, and maybe on a much more somber note, and I feel like if you'll give me a little license, Greg, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
On August 15th, we had a tremendously tragic event happen in the history of Cedar Lake with the murder, death, demise of attorney T. Edward Page. I knew Ted Page. I know that Rick knew him well. And one of our own, of course, Bill Lansky was involved or has some involvement in that. Please, please, please. I don't know about the rest of you, but it's been an incredibly somber 10 days for me. I sat next to Bill right here for
8 years.
8 years. And gosh, when things happen, they pour, I guess. But please keep the families of Ted Page and all of his acquaintances, friends, family in your prayers. Please keep the Lansky family in your prayers. It's really hard to talk about and describe. Thank you.
Thank you. Town administrator, staff.
Council, I wanted to let you know that I have spoken with LWG, who has been our financial advisors for many years. With Amy's leaving, they have offered to assist the town with its 2019 budget preparations. They can review our schedules, verify property tax calculations, any of those calculations on revenues, look at our operating expenses on what we could on what we provide them, attend any meetings as they would see fit. As we know, this is something that our chief deputy and Jen have taken on, trying to learn in a short amount of time, with Amy being the only one who has previously submitted that information. So I wanted to let you know they offered to do that and anticipated they would not charge the town for this assistance, as they understand the town found itself in a rather sudden change in the clerk's office. So I wanted to let you know that service was available if we should want to ask for a second set of eyes on things before we hit that submit button. And we will be working to get our workshops scheduled for the budget and get all of that noticed and out there, so that will be in front of you soon.
Is that something we need to take action on tonight?
I'd recommend it. We're in the most critical time of budget assessment and analysis. This is where the work gets done, the sausage is made, and needs to be right.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda and authorize London Woody to work on this, which they said at no cost.
They did say they did not anticipate they would invoice the town. Now, obviously, if something's above and beyond. Sure. This is a review to kind of give us a second set of eyes and make sure we're dotting everything and crossing everything properly.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Thanks, Jill. Anything else?
Yeah, also at the last meeting, Mr. Carnahan, I believe you had requested on Comcast franchise fees.
Yes.
And what we use those on. Amy reported on the video franchise fee report that needed to be submitted by March 1st of 2018, that those franchise fees are put into the general fund, and those are for the maintenance of easements such as grass mowing, weed control, as well as streetlight maintenance. So,
But there's nothing in there that says it has to go for promotion, like promoting the town.
no,
Okay, that's all I,
not to my knowledge, no.
that
That's
question
for the
was asked
easements.
me, so
Okay.
I have an answer for it now. Then I have a question. Are you going to talk about High Grove? Any more?
Other than Mother Nature was not our friend this week, and we anticipate having paving crews out tomorrow to assess the area.
All right, if by some chance we don't have 129th completed on Thursday when MacArthur School opens up, we usually, I think, I'm not sure of how many, but I think we have about 100 cars that go through there dropping kids off and picking them up. Through the police department, can we come up with a plan to help assist them, maybe in a different location if that road isn't available?
Assist in a different location for drop off and pickup?
Yes, because they usually use the side road there.
They line up down 129th.
And if that road isn't complete, we need to have some sort of a backup plan to take care of these kids.
Sure.
Yeah, Chief and I can work on that.
All
We
right.
can work on that tomorrow once we have an update. Obviously, if
Hopefully
it
they get
rain,
it paved.
it's not gonna rain all day tomorrow, so we're gonna get some pavement down.
We hope. Any staff have any, Jill, you have anything else?
No, I think I'm good for this evening.
Staff have anything?
I did have a couple of things as well. if I may.
Come on up, chief.
As a result of meeting, one of the council meetings in July, I can't remember if it was the first or second week. A concerned resident spoke to the council about possibly obtaining a PET scanner, a chip scanner, and we did acquire that last week. So we're in the process of working out the mechanics of how we utilize that scanner, but we do have that. Another item, just to let you know, all the officers have been issued Narcan, which is used in overdose scenarios with opioids and heroin. We had the training, and we did secure a grant to be able to acquire those Narcan kits for all the officers, so we will be very when responding to those type of incidents to be able to utilize it. Also want to let you know the SRO, School Resource Officer, Sergeant Volk, who's in the room, has started at the middle school last Wednesday, beginning of the school year. So he's in place, working hand in hand with the Security Safety Director for Hanover Township Schools. And the final item, we had two officers attend a 4-day training with respect to baby and child seat monitoring, and be able to work with the public and ensuring that those seats are properly placed in the vehicles. So we're again in the process of working out the mechanics of how we utilize that, but that's going to be a service available to the residents of Cedar Lake very shortly. That's all I have.
I have a question for you. It was on Facebook that somebody came close to hitting the Dairy Bell building. They came within 5 feet.
I didn't see that post. I know there was an accident in front of the Dairy Bell. I believe it was yesterday.
Well, it said they were within 5 feet of the people that pick up their product from the Dairy Bell.
Yeah.
And then after that, I had a resident that asked if we could have patrols down there maybe next week or so to possibly try and slow some of that traffic down, because even though we reduced it to 25, I think they're going 35, 40, even maybe faster than that. All right, thank you.
Thanks, chief. Written communication from Christopher Burke Engineering.
Council, in your packet is your report, your monthly report from Christopher Burke. Ongoing road projects, still trying to close out the 133rd project with NDOT. We have a conference call with Army Corps scheduled for the 23rd. I have not heard anything as of tonight's meeting. And additionally, still trying to close out some of our other projects such as the Safe Routes to School project. Those are kind of those back burner things that we're waiting on NDOT to close out their paperwork, and that sometimes can take longer than you would anticipate.
Would you comment on the eco restoration that the Army Corps canceled a teleconference?
No, we mutually agreed to cancel that conference call. They had just submitted information to the ASA's office in response to the feasibility report questions, so it made no sense to have that meeting because
Who submitted the questions?
the Chicago district submitted to
DC?
to Washington, D.C. So it was mutually agreed upon to cancel that meeting. So our next scheduled conference call is August 23rd.
Okay. I'd like to thank everybody for bearing with me tonight. I don't normally sit in this chair, and I think we limped through it pretty good, but
Good job.
You may.
Yeah.
best
Public comment.
best attempt anyway. We're moving on to public comment, and this public comment can be on any topic you want it to be. So, open public comment at this time. Come on up here.
I have nothing but praise to say to the paramedics in your police department.
Carol, let me help you. This is Carol Van Dorp. She lives at 7345 West 128th
And
Place.
the address is on the building.
Yes. Okay, now go ahead.
I had been on the phone because I couldn't breathe, and while I was on with 911, I passed out. Paramedics came, and it was great as they were, your police officers too, who had to put up with my dogs. And I understand one of them, I have a little dog named Cudo, or Cudo. So I'm Cudo's mother, whoever that officer was. I don't know her. Really, I don't know. God, if you can accept and in here, when I'm speechless, that's wrong. It's, I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for the paramedics in the police department. I understand, I missed 3.5 days, I was in a life support, so but I can go by what I was told, that with the paramedics, I stopped breathing in the ambulance. They pulled it over, they got me going. I had doctors tell my family they didn't think I would go out of this and survive. And if it wasn't for you fellas, I wouldn't. And I'm gonna get crying, not because I'm sad, but I'm so happy and Cedar Lake should be so proud of you fellas. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. And the only thing is, God sent the right people there. And you're my heroes. I don't know how else to do it.
And I'd like to tell you guys, for the last week and a half or so, she's been telling that to everybody that'll listen. So you guys, she's like the chairman of your fan club. Nice work. Thank you.
No, that was approved.
Right.
That shouldn't be that.
What about that one?
That one was approved at the last meeting, but I didn't have the copy for signature.
Oh, and also she brought cookies for the firemen and the police officers. There's no firemen here, but the police officers are here. So,
They got things right before we started.
yeah, that's unfortunate.
I didn't want them in the dog.
All right, we're gonna move on to public comment here. Let that reunion go back there. Is there any other public comment? Come on up. I need your name and address for the record.
My name is Jeremy Lee. Live at 7008 West 149th Avenue, Crown Point. I just had a few questions. I haven't been able to come here. I've had union meetings, just got off of work. and they're normally falling the same days you guys do. I've been looking at your guys' ordinances, and I mean, burning and shooting on my property has been my main two that I've seen that are interrupting what I do. I live on 16 acres of land. I understand that it's a county ordinance, and I've always had county come out and talk to me about my burning or shooting. I got a ticket for burning from Cedar Lake. Paid it, said fine, I'll pay it, but this has been traveling through my mind. The gun ordinance was, I have over 16 acres. I have a built-in gun range down on my property, away from everything, no houses around. Shoot, I thought I'd be able to shoot. I'm able to hunt. There's nothing saying I can't hunt on my property. I'm not
Is
allowed to
there?
shoot.
Something that says you can't hunt on his
They have
property?
a license and it's in season.
Okay.
But I can't shoot my handgun on my own property. I just wanted to see what I can try to rectify. So I'm getting two different stories.
There were two of us, Greg Parker and myself, that voted against that.
Yeah, I was working and I wasn't able to come to that meeting, so this is my first time coming to be able to.
So are you an unincorporated? You said you have a Crown Point
According to the
address?
officer that gave me the ticket, I'm in town limits of Cedar Lake.
He's on the edge of it. He's probably the last house in.
Okay, so that's why county has come out before?
That's, county's always come out. I mean, Cedar Lake drives by and I wave and talk to them. And I come to Cedar Lake to get my license, my trailer plates. The only thing I really pay to Cedar Lake is my utilities.
Yeah,
All the drainage comes through my property.
he has
and I
no
pay-
sewer service either. He
I pay garbage.
he has the garbage as well. Now, Jeremy asked me a question a while back because of the situation with his property and his trees. He asked what he would have to do to not be a part of Cedar Lake because in the county, they don't enforce the burning ordinance, and he'd rather be unincorporated from Cedar Lake.
Like I was originally at my fiance's property.
That's a question. That's a question he asked me. What would he have to?
There's a disannexation statute.
How would I go about doing that? Then,
Yeah, it's same process reverse as being annexed.
And because he's not on the sewer system, there's no technicality with,
Well, even if you were on the sewer system.
well, if he's on the sewer system, he's in the municipal
Well, he
boundaries
is,
and he's
but it
getting
doesn't
municipal
have to be.
service.
There are extra jurisdictional extensions of properties that aren't in the town limits. But that wouldn't affect a disannexation petition based upon reasons that he deems appropriate that you all could consider.
Or we could reconsider giving him an exception, right?
Well, that's always hard, Bob, legislating the exception rather than the rule. That's why you make rules.
Or we could modify the
That's a better-
legislation.
That's a better path,
Mhm.
for sure.
I just don't want to step on anybody's toes and be able to still do what I've done for the last 3 years, and my fiance and her family's been there all their lives. So I've just been noticing that this has been happening, so they're not going to stand up and do it. I want to do it. I want to be able to have my son be able to do what I do. I want to show him the proper way to.
Her family, by the way, has been on this same piece of property for 150 years. So it's not, this is a multi-generational type use of this property. And nothing's changed
That's
there,
really good.
Yeah.
but everything seems to have changed all around them. And now they have an issue with some of the things that have gone on around them. So
So just by way of feedback commentary to that, and Jeremy, you know this probably from talking to Greg and Bob, you've been told this, there's an incredibly strong position by two groups of council members up here. So, they're the legislative
I know when
body.
I talked to Niemeyer the day that I got the ticket, the day after, I went over to Greg because the officer said, give Greg the ticket. I wasn't okay with that. It kind of irked me. But he called Niemeyer and Niemeyer talked to me. We were kosher with it. He's like, yeah, well, it's the law. I said, okay, well, how do I go about changing my status on this then? and I never heard back. And I've been busy, haven't been able to come here, so I got here. Now I'm asking the questions.
Now, I don't have any answers for you, and I don't think anybody here does. I think that some of this stuff needs to be revisited. There needs to be some exceptions made somehow along the line for these types of instances. There are not a lot of them, but they're out there. And especially when the same family's been on a piece of property for that amount of time. I don't think any of them are going anywhere.
And I think the provision was in there prior that if you had 10 acres or more, it didn't apply to you, correct?
There was an exception provision. I can't quote it to you. I can't cite it to you.
It was the
But
10
there
acres
was,
or more.
there was some language.
I'd say follow up, Jeremy. Follow up and see what
Alright.
the council's.
I may not be able to come to the next meeting, but I have to go to my union meetings, but I should be able to come to the next one after that.
Whenever you can, I'd come in and follow up.
Could we go ahead and put it on the agenda for discussion?
Absolutely. Sure.
We need action to do that, or can we just direct
You
it?
can direct that.
Direct it to be put on the next agenda for.
Not the next one, but the following one, because he can't make the next one.
Following one for extra discussion or more discussion. If you can be at that meeting,
I'll
Jeremy.
make
that'd be
sure I
great.
get to that one.
For September 18th.
Okay. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
I got so excited about seeing the police officers. There's
I said that already,
Yeah.
but that's fine. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Seeing none, we're adjourned.
You can look at the police commission.
All three of us signed this and we didn't pass it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, so I want to slide that off to the side.
Would you